Welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I'm your host, DPalm. Follow me on Twitter at DPalm66. You can follow the show on Twitter at UDPod. You can follow the entire MTR Network on Twitter at the MTR Network. Now that you found the show, don't lose the show. Subscribe in the iTunes Store. It's the best way to make sure you don't miss any episodes. So when I do crazy things like Podcast Week, you don't have to hunt and peck and hope that you catch each one. Each one will be downloaded directly to the device of your choosing for your ease and convenience. Now that you subscribed, do us one quick favor and leave that 5-star review. A 5-star review is, just like I said, iTunes. Hit 5 stars. You can leave a message. You don't have to. But if you want to say something, leave a 5-star review. I'll read it on the air no matter what it is. Good, bad, nice, ugly. If you want to talk about the show on social media, use the hashtag UDPod. That way we can find you, say thank you, say thanks for a suggestion or a segment you liked or a topic you want discussed. It's a great way to put stories in front of our eyes to make sure we cover them and give you the best podcast we can. Other ways you can support the show. If you have other pointers, other things you want to tell us, things you want to ask, feedback you want to give, you can email the show at udpodcast@gmail.com. You can also help the show by going through our Amazon affiliate link. It's on the main page of the MTR Network. It's the same Amazon you always go to, but instead of Bezos getting his cut, he gets his cut, and we get a little bit of that. And the last way you can help the show is by going to our store. T-shirts are out there. They're great. I bought enough of my own shirts to have to mention it on my own show. But I also bought the lovely MTR coffee mug. It's a great way you can tell people about the show, and that's a great way to support. Spreading word of mouth, tell them where you heard about us. And I think that's all the housekeeping I want to do. Podcast week, guys. We're on day 4. It's been a hell of a ride. Yesterday, we got to go through the entire AFC of the NFL, discussing overs-unders for each team. Today, we're back. We're talking NFC over-unders, which means, yes, we are going to talk about the Falcons that had something happen last year. I honestly don't remember how the season ended. Don't tell me. I'm still waiting to watch Super Bowl. It's on DVR. No spoilers. But yeah, we're talking NFC today, over-unders the same way we did yesterday. We're going to talk about each team in the realm of will they break the Vegas set over-unders for wins for that team this year. We've got Konata Edwards from Creative Living Charlotte and from formerly ESPN. It's a great get, and he's a great guy, and I really appreciate him doing this for us. And here's a quick word from another part of the MTR Network.
Hi guys, the Doctor here to tell you about a show we've got going on Premium, the Doctor Who Retrospective, where we wax poetic about our favorite parts of the Doctor Who universe, the best doctors, the best companions, the companions we could have done without, the challenges with the showrunners, and some of our favorite spin-offs, including Class and Torchwood. So, if you are a Whovian and want to join us in talking about everything that goes on in and outside of the TARDIS, subscribe to MTR Premium.
And we're back. Podcast week rolls on. 2017, first one. We're about halfway through now. We're a little over halfway through. I'm going to start over. Shit. We're way off past it. I forgot this isn't airing tomorrow. It's airing Thursday. So, all right, sorry. I was like, wait a second. I've already done the editing for tomorrow. I know that is. All right, I'll give you 5 seconds. Podcast week here at Unanimous Decision rolls on, and we're back talking more NFL football. Yesterday, you got me to listen to me talk to Justin from 3/5 Pod as we broke down the AFC over-unders, and I got to break his heart about the truth about his Tennessee Titans. Today, we have with us not just ESPN alumni, not just a writer for Creative Living Charlotte, but a writer at Uproxx who's been cranking out some of the best pieces on a variety of topics. We got Nata on. What's up, bro?
Not much, Mr. Palmer. All I'm saying is at this point, I'm glad, through all the technical difficulties that we've had, I'm finally glad we get to record again, man. For real.
This is good, and trust me, you'll be on in the fall because I'm going to make you come on. But yeah, will you tell everyone just kind of something? Because one of the things I've liked about your writing as you've gotten back into it is that you've been able to handle lots of different topics with a nuance and an ability that you don't really see. You see people like, oh, I write baseball, or I write basketball, or I write football. You've been able to kind of float around. Is it a freedom working for Uproxx, or just kind of you following what's moving you to write?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
One thing, the best part about working for Uproxx, because remember the last time I was doing this, I wasn't really gainfully employed. So again, having a friend like Martin Rickman who does a lot of great work, and he just goes okay, what do you want to do? And there's sometimes I'll do stuff that'll make no sense, and there'll be other times where I do my feature pieces that I absolutely love, and stuff like the Justice Winslow piece, stuff like the LeBron piece that really got me noticed which actually got me hired, because remember how everybody says don't do anything for free? That one I did for free.
Yeah.
That one I did for free, and that one got me in the door. Because Martin knew I could do stuff, and he was like, okay, just show him what you can do. Just show him what you can do. And then go from there. And it went from that to the Hornets piece to the Kaepernick piece, which, again, if anyone that's a friend of mine on Facebook, I apologize already for that long, dragged out argument with that idiot. That's really not supposed to happen on my personal Facebook. I keep all the arguments I try to keep them to Twitter, even though there are certain people with engraved tire irons who shall not be named. Again, the guilty shall not be pointed out today. I'm feeling in a very, very, very happy mood right now.
Yeah, very generous.
So, I mean, honestly, it's like one of those things where I just get to, it's like the sports world is my playground. And to be quite honest, there's some other stuff that I got planned coming down the pipe that I can't talk about right now because it's not really I'll just put it this way. I'm going to branch out a lot in the next couple of months. Branch out a lot.
I'm excited to see it, man. Let's go ahead and get started with today's show. And we're going to go like we did yesterday, west to east, because guess what? We both happen to support teams that live in the same division. And to build a little suspense and maybe a little animosity.
Yeah, we'll finish with the NFC South. Look, please.
You close your pay-per-views with the main event. That's just how it's done. That's how it's booked.
Exactly.
Let's get started out west.
If you're booking this, are you Dusty Rhodes or are you more of a Kevin Sullivan?
Vince Russo, baby. Shock and awe.
God.
Let's start with something I think is shocking. The Arizona Cardinals. I didn't realize they won 8 games last year. That's crazy to me.
I'm looking at these odds, and I'm like, wait a minute, wait. Just 8 wins?
Think about it. They won 8 last year, and I don't see – because they're still trotting out the corpse of Carson Palmer.
Yes.
They're still saying, this is the guy who's going to lead us to the promised land of 8-8. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what the plan is. Bruce Arians wears a Kangol, so he's cool with me, clearly.
Exactly.
But I got to ask, do you see them eclipsing 8 wins from last year?
I do, because I don't believe in the Rams, and I don't – again, shocker, I don't believe in the Rams, and I don't really think the Niners are there yet.
Okay.
I see them eclipsing 8 wins, but here's the scary part. I don't see him doing it with Carson Palmer.
Ooh, who do you see starting for him?
Blaine Gabbert.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Has Blaine Gabbert seen 8 wins since college?
No, I don't think he ever got 8 wins in college. Like, I don't think he ever got 8 wins in college. But somehow, with that defense and the fact that you have David Johnson, who is, for my money, the best back in the NFL, I think you can do some things with that offense. I think Blaine Gabbert, you don't have to ask him to do much. You just have to ask him not to kill you. And I think he can do that much now.
I'll say this. I agree with you. I think the AFC West is weak, as we'll cover through this podcast. But I took a peek at the schedule, because what happened was, when I recorded the one with Justin, he started breaking out schedule stuff on me. So I was like, all right, buddy, let's get real.
Yeah.
So I looked at who the crossover games are with, and it looks like, you're right. It could be a situation where they can get above the 8 wins. We're talking going against the AFC South, which is an embarrassment, and Houston. I think Houston's going to be really good. I'm really bullish on Houston. But
Houston is going to be good, but it all depends on when they, decide, what, Deshaun Watson, you go out and do this. We don't want to see any more of Tom Self.
It'll be game 1.
Yeah,
about midway through the second quarter. But you look at the schedule, there's really, like you said, there's chance for the 8 wins. However, either if it's Bortles, if it's Carson Palmer, if they go out and sign Brady Quinn, I don't believe in this offense. I don't believe in an outside threat. I think they're going to key on David Johnson. The defense is going to carry you so long, particularly in this league that's gotten so offensive friendly. I'm taking the under for 8 wins.
You're taking the under.
I'm taking the under.
You're taking the under.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah.
You got the over.
Yeah, I got the over.
Let's go next to San Francisco.
San Fran.
And you may have heard of this team in the news this offseason. They released a quarterback who asked to be cut and hasn't been able to find a job since. He was actually the awarded the most courageous player on the team last year. But hey, that's for another day, for another time.
Exactly. We don't have enough time, and I've written too many words, and I've argued with too many people on this.
But you come back to a Niners team that is legitimately covered bare. We don't know what the hell's going to go on. It was 2 wins last year. The line's at 4.5. I looked at this roster up and down. I don't see appreciably where they got that much better. I do think it's interesting that they've got Katie Sowers as the second woman in as a coaching position in the history of the NFL.
Absolutely.
It's very progressive for the front office. I think it's interesting that Kyle Shanahan would come over, take this job, not have either quarterback that he wanted, but still take the job. And so I got to say, the lines right now, Vegas, hey, and I tell you right now, they know things. Vegas is better at this than we are. Not going to lie. 4.5. I looked at that number and said, shit, that's a great number.
It is a great number. It is a great number. The thing is, remember, they're playing the NFC South. There's a lot. I could see this team getting 5 wins. It's not going to be early. Let's look at it like this, because I'm looking at the schedule right now. You're talking Panthers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
Rams could be a win.
Rams might be a win. Keyword might. And I'm stretching that.
You're right. They're like mirror image of each other.
The first really winnable game they have is Week 5 against the Colts, who probably won't have Andrew Luck.
Ever.
I mean, you take a look. Like, maybe they split with the Cardinals. Maybe they split with the Rams. And then having the Bears, Titans, Bears and Jaguars. I mean, and they're usually good for. I think with that defense, I think they're good enough to get 1 or 2 more wins out of it.
So you're going with the over.
I'm going with the over, but I'm gritting my teeth as I'm handing my money over.
This is an optimistic man. I'm banging the under. I don't see 5 wins. I just don't. I think that first-year coach who's coming off of a loss that, may or may not be at his feet in depth.
Yeah, again, you gotta blame Kyle Shanahan on this, man. You can't treat him like Voldemort and be like, he who shall not be named or something like that. You can't do that. You gotta go totally with it's on Kyle Shanahan. Do not just take that burden off your back, even though you are a Falcons fan, and I forgive you for that. We all make poor life decisions. So you know what? We will just leave it there. He's got nothing to lose. He's got job security. I think he surprises everybody with 5 wins.
I think Brian Hoyer's not getting you 5 wins. Now.
No, C.J. Beathard will, though.
Well, strong disagree. I'll just leave it at that. Strong disagree. Okay. Next up, the St. Louis, just kidding, L.A. Rams, who I'm going to call them the St. Louis Rams forever. How about you?
Now, I can deal with them being in L.A. because it just reminds me of the times before they actually got like Marshall Faulk and were actually an entertaining
you're taking
team.
me back to them not being important. Like when they were in L.A., I was a little kid. They didn't matter to me. By the time they got St. Louis, greatest show on turf, that's where they made their bones. But it's going to be the L.A. Rams. They've got a new coach, and
yeah,
it's fine. And I don't want to sound like bitter.
I
know this dude.
Yeah, I know.
He went to a rival high school of mine, and I'm sure he's a great guy. But it's interesting to see guys like him get these jobs who may or may not have grinded, may or may not have put the time in, be given opportunities that would be above where he would normally get at this age or experience level. That said, hey, if you think a 30-year-old guy can come in and tell a 35-year-old guy about practice and about life and lay down the rules, then maybe you can. But then why would you bring in Wade Phillips as your DC? Why would you need to bring in a hammer?
Wait. Hold on now. Let's be fair. There are very few people I would rather have coach my defense than Wade Phillips.
Oh, son of a bum. We're good there. I'm just saying, if you're saying this is going to be our flagship coach for our flagship franchise in LA, he needs a heavy. Like, he shouldn't need an arm.
No, you always need an arm. You always need an arm. No matter. I mean, look at Mike Tomlin. He had Dick LeBeau for how long?
It's true.
Like, I mean, you always have that guy.
Mike Tomlin had put the time in. He'd done interviews. Like, this guy, this is the first job he's ever been for. Like, I don't know. It's fine. It's whatever. This is a team that was damn near last in passing and rushing last year, 31st in both category. The defense was just as deplorable, but you can't really gauge it because they were on the field so damn long, because this team only scored 14 points a game. They can't be worse than last year. I don't think that's even possible. Wait,
this is where we disagree.
They won 4-12.
This is where we disagree.
The line's at 5.5. Nata, where do you have them finishing?
I got them under. I got them under 5.5. Oh yeah. I don't see a way they get 4.
See, I think they can win 5.
I don't see. Like I'm looking at the schedule right now. The Colts is a win. Washington,
Washington, okay, yeah, you're right. I think Washington's like almost a push. I think the Niners game is a coin flip. Then you got a whole bunch of losses. But then the Jags come to town, or they go to the Jags. That could be 4 or 3 right there. We'll talk about the Vikings later, but it don't look good.
No, it doesn't.
And
it doesn't.
And they end with the Niners again. I see 5 wins. I see them coming just under the 5.5, 9. Again, like I said, these numbers are pulled pre-season, pre-injury, so we'll see what happens.
Actually, hold on. I may have to change it. I might have to go over it. You know what pushes me over though? What? That November 26th game against the Saints.
Oh, okay.
That November 26th game against the Saints.
Our uniting and Saints hate will always carry us through, my friend.
Oh Lord, those like I don't trust that. I don't trust the Saints. I haven't trusted the Saints for at least 3.5, 4 years now. That Saints game looks winnable, and I'm not as big a believer in the Eagles as everybody else. I'm really not.
Last team in the division, the one I think is going to walk away from a very weak division, the Seattle Seahawks. They bring back that entire defense. They just re-signed Cam Chancellor, I think. They've got Richard Sherman out there with something to prove after the rumors of his being trade bait in the offseason. The offense, the line's got to get better. Like, I know that they've done this thing where Russ got paid, so they had to skimp on the O-line, and that explains why their difficulties last year. But hell, with the difficulties last year, they still won 10. They still finished third in the league in points against and 25th on the ground, which isn't great. But I think if you can mature that line, rebuild to the draft, which they did, find a way to reassess that running game.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. More importantly, this team is winning at least 5 of their 6 division games.
Oh,
at least.
They're going to get that weird Rams loss they get every year.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they're walking through this division. You're right.
No, there's at least 5. They go 5-1, 6-0 in this division, no problem. I don't see 10.5 is kind of high for me, but at the same time, I mean, let's take a look at the schedule. I mean, opening with the Packers, okay. But it follows up with Niners, Titans, Colts, Rams. Do you see
that's 4-1 going to the bye week?
That's 4-1 in the bye. Giants is a toss-up. Texans, Washington, Cardinals, Falcons. You're talking about
you go 2-2 there.
Yeah. And then the end of the schedule is cake. Niners are going to win. Eagles are going to win. Jags are going to win. Rams, that may be the fluky loss. Cowboys, Cardinals. And that Cardinals game probably is going to be one of those rest games.
Hell, if we get to the East, the Dallas game might be too.
Yeah.
Let's go next to the NFC North. You mentioned the Packers earlier. We're going to start actually with Chicago. Mitch Trubisky is going to be the great Beaker-faced hope, I guess. He looks like Beaker. That's always my joke.
Wait. Hold on. They got this.
I'm sorry. Glennon's my Beaker-faced joke.
Yeah,
Trubisky's going to be watching at least at first.
Now, 5.5 is awfully high. Awfully high for this team.
We're talking about a team that went 3-13 last year, but it's also a big public team. So, of course, they're going to boost that up a little bit because they're going to get money on it. I think 5.5 is obscene.
That's disgusting. That if you put money on that, if you put any kind of money on the over, I need you to take a drug test before you put your money in.
The Vegas bookmakers are frantically shaking their head. No, give us your money.
I know.
But yeah, you look at this Bears team, and it's, I hate to say treaded water since they lost Jay Cutler, but I mean that's what it is. Like, they didn't get better this offseason. They flat out didn't. I honestly, and I'll say it right here, I think they blew the number 1 pick. I think going Trubinsky was a mistake, particularly after signing Glennon the money. No one wants to come in and be the understudy, and really no one wants to come in and keep a seat warm while a kid's getting ready. People are saying, oh, he's going to learn so much from Glennon. First of all, what do you want him to learn from Glennon?
You don't want him to learn anything. More importantly, from Sanchez either.
Exactly. And B, let's say we throw him out there. Jay Cutler, who has a bit more ability than people think, took a league-high sacks behind the slide last year and tore up his shoulder. Is that something you want to throw a rookie into?
Nope. No. This looks bad. I'm looking at this. I don't see how they win 3 games.
It's going to be really ugly. I think this is going to get a little out of hand.
Much less 6 to collect your money. Good Lord. Falcons, Bucks, Steelers, Packers. You're starting off 0-4 off the rip. Vikings, Ravens, Panthers, Saints. That's their first 8 games. They may start off 1-7. May, and I'm being kind.
And then it's Trubinsky time, and things are just going to get worse.
Yeah, I don't see how there's 5 wins on this schedule.
There isn't. That's why I think we both got the under here.
Yeah, no, you take the under. You take the under, and you feel happy about it. You may not make any money. But that, oof.
It is safe. It feels safe.
It feels real safe.
The post-Megatron era in Detroit continues.
Oh, no.
I was going to make a Galvatron joke, but I restrained myself. Guess not. Just made it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really interesting to see things happen in Detroit because this is a 97 team last year. They made the playoffs, and they got better in ways that we didn't expect them to. Without having Calvin on the field, and I've heard this counter argument made before football-wise, they say that it frees up the rest of your receivers to do more things because no one's keying.
Yeah.
It's true. It worked. I'm not saying it's true every time, but it worked this year.
It works sometimes.
It worked because Stafford is good. That's a lot of arm talent back there. They've done a good job.
Sir, we are not letting your Georgia bias get in the way of this.
Tell me this. Hold on. We can talk about who's got the most yards in the season, like if you really want to do that. But like,
no,
Stafford's on that list twice in the top 10.
I know. That's what's scary. One of those is non-Megatron aided, so I have to give them that.
But it's crazy because when you think of your elite quarterbacks, you don't think of this guy because he's in Detroit, and I don't think he's elite, but I hate that word anyway. But I do think that he's in the top half of this league, and I definitely think he's in the top half of his division.
I think he's top half of the division. I think he's a top 12 quarterback.
Easy, yeah.
Easy. I mean, if we were talking tiers, like he's in that 6 to 12 tier where I go
muddled. Yeah.
1 to 3, 3 to 6, and then everybody, and then 6 to 12, and then there's everybody else.
Exactly.
And I'm looking at this, and it's 8.5. It's 8 wins,
which is another great line by Vegas. Tip of the cap.
This is a very this
That's
one.
Exactly what I thought. I was like, 8. Oh, okay.
This one, whew, they're like a Marvin Jones injury. The only thing is, they're a Marvin Jones injury away from not covering 8.
Are you going to bet on Marvin Jones getting injured?
Yes, because it's football. I absolutely will.
That's 100% fair. But you know what? Honestly, I think Staff's got weapons. I think this is an offense that's going to put up points.
I do.
I like Golden Tate playing like a Megatron light role. I like the running back game. I like the people. I hate running back committee. Hey, look, Abdullah and Reddick get it done. I'm sorry.
They do, and they're a surprisingly good duo. I'm just looking at the beginning of the beginning of the schedule looks a little bit tougher than initially thought. Like going from Cardinals to Giants on a Monday night, that's a tough ask. And then again, basically a short week against the Falcons. Vikings is your only respite, and then Panthers, Saints, bye. That's tough.
You have different views of those last 2 teams, but we'll get to those later.
Yeah, that's a tough ask. I don't
think it's as tough as you think it is. Next up, Green Bay. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you go over under?
I'm going over, but I'm gritting my. It's another one of those.
I think we're the same over where it's like we've been fans long enough to know that we shouldn't trust the Lions.
Yes.
We also got these eyes that like this division isn't that great, and the Lions might sneak into the playoffs again.
Yeah.
The team that did win the division last year, the Green Bay Packers, they clocked in with 10 wins. Vegas had them set for 10 again, and yeah. you give him Aaron Rodgers, I got to give you 10.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm surprised it's not higher. I am honestly surprised it's not higher.
I feel like I'm stealing something. They had a pretty good draft. They got Kevin King out of Washington in the corner. In the second round, they had a very heavy second round with Josh Jones out of NC State, who I actually like at safety.
Yeah.
They shorted the defense. They addressed the needs. I think that could really be that bodes well both for this season and future seasons because they were 7th in passing last year, 20th in rushing, and they scored fourth most points a game, but allowed 21st most. So I think drafting heavy defense would be pretty effective and pretty good. I am actually most excited to see what happens in the tight end film room.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't wait. Rich Rodgers and Martellus Bennett. Oh, that's got to be a fun tight end room. That's got to be a really fun one. That's this schedule. I look at them and I'm like, okay, outside of the first 2 weeks.
First 2 weeks are going to be fun. I'm glad they're going to be on television. I need to see both those games. Those are going to be those games that, they say tell you something about a team. Yeah. We'll see how this Packers team looks hosting the Seahawks and then headed to Atlanta.
Yeah. The first 2 weeks are the only 2 weeks I'm really those are the only 2 weeks I'm concerned about them. The rest of this schedule? No. Not even the rest of this schedule is not that good at all. They're gonna clock in at least 10 wins. They're gonna get that swoon that makes everybody think that something's wrong with Aaron Rodgers, and they can't blame Olivia Munn this time, which is gonna be funny. But I don't know. This is a good one. This is a good division to be in right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great division to be in, particularly if your name's Aaron Rodgers. You're nearing the end of your career and you want to kind of coast through the regular season, tell people to relax. He's going to hang a bunch of points again, a bunch of yards again, and it's going to be receivers that were like, wait, didn't Jordan Nelson retire? It feels like Jordan Nelson's been in Green Bay since 1992, and I know it's not true, but it just feels that way to me.
Yeah, Antonio Freeman running routes together and everything. Yeah, he's Antonio Freeman 2017. He's been there forever, and you don't really realize it until he goes off and retires. It also helps that he's had some really bad injuries that make you forget that he's on the field. But yeah. him and Randall Cobb, they're Freeman and Brooks all over again.
And that's the thing is that even with the caveat of the injuries, I am pretty sure that Aaron Rodgers can find a way.
No,
I've seen him do it.
Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football, despite what everybody wants to gush about Tom Brady. He's the best quarterback in football. I'm sorry. You can argue with your mom about that.
We don't recognize that other man on the show.
Good.
Anyway, next up, we've got the Minnesota Vikings. A team so dilapidated that their coach in the last 12 months has had 8 eye surgeries. He doesn't want to watch them. They kicked off last season by having their quarterback's knee explode. He's still not back.
He's not coming back either.
He's not coming back this year, or you think ever?
I don't think he's ever coming back.
I mean, it's very real. People who saw it at the time said that they wept openly, that it was one of those things where the surgery team almost had to take the leg. That's how bad this injury was.
Yeah.
It was even so bad that you had to go out and trade for Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
And they came out and peeled off 5 straight wins last year, and everyone thought they were going to be great, and it's going to be something, and then they Vikings it up and finished 8-8.
Yeah.
The line's 8.5. I don't see 8.5 wins.
I'm struggling to see 9 wins on this team. I struggle, honestly. They're a quarterback away from 9 wins, but unfortunately that quarterback that they need isn't coming back. And if you're telling me Sam Bradford's your quarterback of a 9-win team, I'm going to need you to pee in a cup for me. It's that simple. I don't see a 9.
Sam Bradford is white mediocrity made flesh.
Yes, he is.
He's the guy who could throw a piece of paper in a trash can and get handed $14 million. I don't get it. I know everyone sees he was a great quarterback in Oklahoma, but then he blew out a knee. Oh, he was a great quarterback first year with the Rams, then he blew out a knee. He keeps getting hurt. His durability has always been in question, but he gets paid like he's done something. He's our new Carson Palmer.
Well, he is. He's Carson Palmer, but at the same time, you know who he is? He's going to be, again, Blake Bortles now has an idol. He's got an idol to this. Because
keep getting them checks all
Keep getting them checks every summer. Keep getting someone to believe that they're going to be the one to fix you. And that's who. And if there's anything that we've seen It's that someone's going to believe that they can fix Sam Bradford until he's 35. We've seen it with Jeff George. We're seeing it with Sam Bradford. We're seeing it with Jay Cutler, even though Cutler has arm talent, or at least had arm talent until he blew out his shoulder, and we're going to see what he's really got come Thursday. I mean, there's going to be a lot of this that's going to get really interesting really quick, but I'm expecting them to be in that nice little Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson hunt for a new quarterback come draft time. That's how far. I
assume you're taking under 8.5?
Yeah, that's how far under I have them. Now, granted, they have competition. But yeah,
there will be a definite strata by about week 4 or 5. This isn't going to be one of those years where everyone's kind of in the middle. No. The good teams will make themselves be made aware of very soon. And a team that I'm not actually sure about, I'm going to need your convincing on. This is the only one I didn't have written in before we sat down. The Cowboys. 13-3 last year. Historically, your biggest jump is from your first year to second year. But because Dak Prescott is such a statistically outlierish year, I'm expecting a bit more of a regression to the mean. They've lost Ezekiel Elliott for at least this first 6 games, potentially first 4. And you look at those first 6, we'll just go through the first 6. Assume this in the first 6. Giants, Broncos, Cards, Rams, Packers, Niners, Washington football team.
Ooh, let me go over this one more time because I looked at this schedule. I didn't like it. They could potentially start off like the best you're hoping for in that stretch is what 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that last year everyone says how great Dak was. Finished 23rd in passing. The real engine that made this team go was first of all, that amazing offensive line.
Yeah.
And secondly, Ezekiel Elliott, the team averaged over about 150 yards a game, second in the league, and they're able to control clock, keep the defense healthy, because that's been a problem.
And keep the defense off the defense off the field. That defense isn't good, healthy, much less with everybody on suspension. That defense
but they're good on stopgap. I think the defense is serviceable. I don't think they're serviceable in long stretches, which is what you're gonna have without Ezekiel Elliott. The line is at 9.5. 9.5. And can you talk me into the over?
I can't.
I wanted to get talked into it.
I'm looking at this back half of this schedule, and while there are some winnable games, I mean, Chiefs, Falcons, Eagles, Chargers. That's the stretch that makes or breaks the over for you, isn't it?
It's got to be. But that's also, but Chargers is a win. Easy. I think the Chargers are terrible. I think the Washington football team is terrible. Giants is a frisky one down the stretch. Raiders is a frisky one. It doesn't close easy. You're right.
No,
but I think
it doesn't close. That
middle stretch is going to define it because from Packers to Falcons, that's a problem.
That's the stretch that hurts you. And you never know if the Niners defense with Foster is and Foster and Thomas, if they're any good, and what's left in Navarro Bowman, obviously, if they're any good, that's not going to be an easy one.
No, you're right. I mean, it's potentially be very feisty. Are you taking the under?
I'm taking
9.5 is a good number.
I might take the under only because I can see them getting 9 wins and sneaking in. Because I think
I'm taking the over because I believe they're going to reduce suspension.
That's the other thing. I don't think they're going to reduce suspension.
I don't think so either, but I'm betting like they are.
I can't because 6 weeks with no Zeke and that 3-2 you're hoping for turns into 1-4 real quick in that start.
You're right. I'm taking the under. You convinced me.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I can't. If we're talking money here, I can't put my money on the fact that the NFL is going to look right in this. And Zeke, say what you want about Jerry, this is not a battle he can win. I'm not sure this is a battle Ezekiel Elliott can win.
Me neither. They investigated for a year. They've given their best case, and I'm curious to see what they say about the appeal. The rumors are out, and of course the rumors are bad, but it's going to be interesting to see how they try to leverage it. Next up, we're headed to Philly. The Eagles 7-9 last year.
Oof. Yep. This is a team is it me or is there a little bit too much hype with this team?
Okay, so you must be running different circles. I didn't know if people turn on Carson Wentz to where they've gone from he's the next big thing to being unsure about him. That I'm kind of sneaking in and saying maybe, just maybe, this could be a squad because they started off hot last year.
They did start off hot.
There's something there. He works in this offense. He can work in this system. He can work with this team. Things went left as they often do with rookie quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the addition of Alshon Jeffrey,
yes,
is going to be a huge deal.
I think having the easy button for him is going to help. I do think it's going to help.
Oh man, dude, he had no one to throw to last year.
I think the easy button for him is Alshon Jeffrey being the Staples easy button, and we need to get that sponsored somehow. But we need to get, but somehow with him being the easy button, I think it helps. I also think that Peterson's offense got kind of stale, and everybody adjusted. I don't know. This team could either be really good or really bad. And even though it's only 8, I don't know. I'm taking the under on that one.
I'm taking the over, and I think you and I are going to flip up on the next one too. I'm taking the under on the strength of, like I said, I think Peterson recognized. I think having an offseason to tweak, will be good for him.
Yeah.
I think tweaking to adjust to Wentz and what we figured out what Wentz does best, and finding the best ways to maximize Alshon Jeffrey.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team, they ran the ball last year. They finished 11th in rushing.
Yeah, and they got rid of their biggest liability in the rushing aspect in getting rid of Ryan Matthews today. So,
and so I think it's going to be interesting to see. The defense is the defense. We'll see how it turns out, because I don't believe in the next team we're going to cover, and that's the New York Giants. So for years, what?
We gonna disagree on this one.
You're dual citizen of fanhood, huh?
No, I've been a Giants fan since birth. I covered the Panthers.
All right, fair enough. Well, it is of my opinion, of course, not scientific, not mathematic, just kind of the gut. It's got to stop sometime, right?
With Eli, yeah.
Yeah. Because we've seen more flashes of bad Eli lately than we have good Eli, and I don't trust Bob McAdoo.
Here's the thing. I think they've almost made it too hard for him to fail this year. I think they've made it way too hard for him to fail.
But what is failing? This is a team that finished 17th in the passing game last year, finished 26 in points for, and still won 11 games.
Again, let me put it this way. Someone's going to be open between Marshall, Shepard, Beckham, and Ingram. And then you still have Paul Perkins, who might be the most underrated running back in football.
First of all, there's your Giants fanhood.
Yes, it is.
That's what that was. It spilled all over this show.
Yes. You found my weakness. You have found my weakness, man. Now, I really do think I think it's going to be difficult to cover all those guys. The one aspect of this team that scares me is that you should still have Eric Flowers at left tackle.
That was my next thought. I was like, look, that's great, lots of options, but I've had I played O-line in college, and the best thing I ever heard was, if we can't block it, we can't run it.
Yeah. Eric Flowers scares me.
Beckham, for all his talents, is best in space.
Yes.
So the 3-step game isn't his best game. He's a strong physical receiver, but the way they officiate him, corners are able to put their hands on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Brandon Marshall, same idea. Big physical guy, but guess what? The refs are going to give the DBs leeway because of the size. Now, if I'm taking away your 3-step game, or at least stymied it, you've got to take time. And with Eric Flowers at left tackle.
Yeah.
And he's getting, look, and I'm not a Pugh guy. I'm sorry. So I don't believe in Justin Pugh.
That line does scare me. I think the addition of Fluker did help, but what Fluker are you getting? Is Fluker going to stay healthy?
Is he even starting?
Yes, he is. He's absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he's absolutely starting. I think, and that schedule, the more I look at it, that's a brutal schedule.
It's hard, right? Like, it's one of those things where I really think things could start to go wrong early.
Yeah.
And get out of hand, because this is a team that's got a lot of age on it, a lot of personality on it, and if things go wrong under that New York spotlight, the slings and arrows are coming out. Again, also, this is a team that put up a very good defensive performance last year, second in the league in points against.
And it's bound to come back down to earth. I absolutely agree with that.
And the rash of health has to stop.
Oh, if you're thinking what I'm thinking about Olivier Vernon missing 8 games, yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
I'm with him. I don't think Pierre-Paul. I think that it's all right. My man's got a hand in a possible.
Yeah.
So, to say that he's going to be the bellwether of your defense,
no,
and the cornerstone is asking a lot.
And you can't keep rotating in and out these defensive tackles that are really great. I think Hankins in a contract year mattered.
Okay.
Cromartie stayed again. Rogers Cromartie stayed abnormally healthy. Jenkins stayed abnormally healthy. Landon Collins, I think, while is one of the best safeties in football, stayed abnormally healthy. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of this,
that check's coming due, man.
Yeah,
that check's coming due, and I think that with the questions you and I have about the offensive line, a lot of 3 and outs early in the season will not engender the offense to this defense and will not facilitate them staying as healthy as they need to be to replicate a 10-win season.
No.
So as a fan,
even as a fan, I always, and this may surprise you, I always say 7-9 with my team. I always say
going under the 9.
Yeah, 7-9.
I too am taking the under because I believe that Eli Manning's done in this town.
I kind of believe you. And if it gets ugly, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the plug on McAdoo and everybody and just say,
really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. Now, who they get, there's the
rub.
That's who, I think Reese has done enough to engender himself and say, look, I gave you all the talent I could. You can't fire me. But McAdoo, yeah, we can fire you. You're not making that much.
Yeah, but without getting into the ins and outs of how much I hate NFL coaching and the way it works, but he'd end up on a staff somewhere very soon.
Oh, well, absolutely. And
let's go south. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, the Washington football team next, right?
The Washington professional football team. So they went 7-9 last year, or 8-7. What? No, what did they go last year? My notes are betraying me. 8-9.
Yeah,
8-7.
8-7-1, I think.
8-7. That's, you know what? That's the other thing. I hate ties.
That's what's going to screw a lot of people, I think, too.
This is ridiculous.
This is going to screw a lot of people on this over-under.
Without sounding like the oldest man in America, I will say this. I learned my 7 multiplication tables through football.
Mm-hmm.
This extended extra point, this going for 2, you're going to ruin education in this country. Not just Betsy DeVos, but the NFL is complicit.
Of course the NFL's complicit. Of course they are. They don't want you knowing the numbers. We can't have kids learning numbers. That means they know how much they're actually getting paid instead of the inflated number. We can't have that out here.
Gotta keep them dumb and keep them broke.
Exactly.
So
or broke and stupid. That's how we do it.
8-7-1 last year. Kirk Cousins somehow trying to leave the team got handed a massive contract.
And we'll get another one next year because you know what? The Washington football team has no choice.
They have no choice and they have no plan. So, and I thought they would address it this year at least because you and I have done a little look at this and look, you've locked in yourself into doing this dance with him every year. They didn't draft their quarterback.
No, they didn't draft a replacement, which you would think they would have done. But that's what happens.
They only drafted one wide receiver, and guess what? When he lost to Sean Jackson, he lost a lot of the reason to pay him.
Yeah, exactly. And mind you, I like Terrell Pryor. I think a lot of the camp hype that we see about him is going to, this could get ugly. Could get ugly soon.
Terrell Pryor was the bright spot on the Browns in garbage time last year.
Yes, he was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NFC East is not the Browns in garbage time.
No, it's not.
And I'm not one to truck in, divisional superstition or reputation, but this is a hit in them division. And
yeah.
If you're going to be the number one guy, Terrell Pryor's gone from quarterback to trying out receiver to being the number one guy replacing D. Jackson Washington.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, you've got the other receiver who's again, name escapes me right now. The kid from
Josh Doctson?
Yeah, Dotson. I like him. I think he's a red zone threat. Problem is, you got to get there.
And how do you get there? Their running backs down to is this Rob? Who the hell is Rob Kelly?
Well, I'm hoping it's not the guy from Chicago that we all know and loathe.
Mr. There's no urine next to his name.
Okay, good. Just making sure. I mean, quite frankly, I don't see it. Like again, line says 7.5. I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
This is another one of those public teams that are like, oh, people will bet anything. We won't because we're both betting the under here.
No, I'm putting this on the under. But then again, there's a team that I kind of, they're a team I wouldn't put money on though. They scare me. If I had,
I don't trust them.
No, I wouldn't put money either way. To be quite honest.
No. Don't gamble on this, but I do like the fact that maybe just maybe they'll be pretty bad. All right, here we go. Here it comes,
right. Y'all.
So, next division is the NFC South. We're gonna start with the Hard Knocks. Have you watched these Hard Knocks?
I've missed out.
Me too. I'm not. Yeah. I also hate this team.
Yeah.
So I don't need to pretend like I love them. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes.
They're bringing back Jameis Winston.
Yes.
They gave him more weapons. He's continually trending upwards as far as ability. O.J. Howard arrives in Tampa Bay because.
Yeah.
Look, man, this is a team that probably should never have fired Lovey. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, we definitely agree there. All you had to do was give him an offensive coordinator and just tell him, look, either you adapt to the times or you got to go. It's not one of those you got to go now and then now we're going to adapt to the times. No. This team. They
won 9 last year.
This team.
And they scare the hell out of me as a fan of a team in the division.
They should. And this schedule should scare you.
Is so. Like, I remember I was on the schedule last night. I was doing a little prep. I was like, Dolphins, Bears, Vikings. Dolphins, Bears, Vikings.
Yes. Yes.
This is the Giants, who you and I are both unsure about. They host the Patriots. It's a hard L. But then it's Cardinals, Bills, and another team in the division. Divisional games in the Jets.
They could only lose. They have a shot of only losing one game in this stretch before the bye week. Like, this schedule is soft. Like Enzo Amore, Big Cass, soft. SAWFT, soft.
But how does a team that finished second in this division last year get this schedule? It's. I know it's all the cross scheduling on the way they do it, but man, I'm speaking strictly from a place of jealousy right now.
This is a soft
schedule.
This is a
team that's going to get better. This is a team that's got middle threats. They've got O.J. Howard changes their offense, man.
Yeah, it does. And if Doug Martin can actually stay clean, stay healthy, this is a very dangerous.
We've seen very good Doug Martin, and we're seeing better Jameis and O.J. Howard and what's the receiver? Mike Evans. This makes me super nervous.
And Vincent Jackson, if he's got anything left in the tank. Let's not forget that.
Forget Vincent. D-Jack.
Yeah. This team is...
He's got D-Jack, man.
This team is very scary.
They're going to open up things... Like, he's going to take the top off underneath to OJ and Mike Evans on crossing patterns. I'd run that play every down.
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, when you get to the end zone, there's only one guy... There's 2 guys now that you can throw it to instead of 1.
Yep. You can't just key on Mike Evans in the red zone anymore.
Nope.
You're going over under 8.5 here.
Oh, I'm going way over. I'm going way over.
Man, that hurt me to agree with you there.
Let's
save the last 2 teams. Let's go next to New Orleans. If you heard this podcast before, my feelings on the Saints and the people who support them are very well documented.
Yes.
I'm going to try to stay impartial here and just ask you straight up before we do anything else. Now, this is a team that won 7 games last year. Do you see them winning 8 this year?
No, absolutely not. No.
Y'all heard him say it right. I didn't say a word.
No. Because this is a team that at some point has got to pay its tax bill. And by tax bill, I mean its cap bill. You can't keep borrowing against the cap, borrowing time. And that's what this team is doing right now. And it didn't make sense when they started it. It made less sense when they continued it. It continues to make less and less sense the more they keep kicking the cap can down the road. This team, this team is a sneaky team, and this is one of those sneaky teams that I think might get in on the Josh Rosen. Like, they're in that we could tank and sneak and get Josh Rosen to replace Drew Brees next year. That's how bad they could be. That's how.
Easily.
When you're one of your big signings is Ted Ginn Jr., you have a problem. You have a massive problem. I don't trust the Saints. The Saints look like this. Hold on, let's put it like this. There's a good chance paper bags will be in the Superdome again. There's a very good chance paper bags will be in the Superdome again.
And as the Falcon fan of the podcast, I want to say here for it. Now, I'm going to talk about the Saints. First, I'm going to be honest and truthful and positive. They come back with the number 1 passing game, the number 2 offensive attack as far as scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
And Drew Brees, despite his height and age, continues to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's get some real about this. This is the worst defense in the NFL.
By far.
It's been the worst defense. It continues to be the worst defense. They go through DCs like that's the problem. I'm sure it doesn't help, but whoever's evaluating your defensive talent is missing. Not like kind of missing, not like occasionally missing, consistently missing. And then I watched that 6 of 8 draft picks this offseason went to defensive picks. And I'm like, why would I trust that? You bring in Adrian Peterson in 2017. You're playing on my emotions because I'm a human being and I've seen Adrian Peterson carry a football.
Yes.
He is inherently terrifying. And until he's actually retired, I'm sure he can go over 500 yards again.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. He's like Herschel Walker in that, you don't want to see him coming down a dark alley. Especially with a football in his hand. I don't blame you.
Hell no.
I don't blame you.
At all.
At all.
But I'll tell you this. It's 2017.
Yes, it is.
He went down very early in the Viking season last year.
Yes.
Mark Ingram is backing him up. Another picture of not exactly consistent health. And I think that the Saints team, the best version of the Saints team is a 6-win team that scores a bunch of points. The worst version of the Saints team is a 2-win team that offense falls apart because they realize there's no outside talent on the receivers anymore. And Drew Brees can only do so much.
More importantly, I don't trust that offensive line.
Oh, well, the thing is, I didn't either. And I was going back and looking at some games from last year because I'm a nerd. And they don't look great.
Mm-mm.
But Drew has been able to close that gap.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gambling both on the O-line not improving and him getting old at the same time.
Yeah, no, which is a solid bet, safe bet.
I think I like to think so because we're in what year in the Drew Brees experience are we in?
We are
He got to be like year 11 or 12, right?
More than that. We're like 14? 15 because remember, you drafted in 01.
Oh my God, you're right because I always reset him because when Rivers came in, he got traded.
Yeah.
You're right. We're deep into this Drew Brees thing. An undersized quarterback who takes a lot of hits.
Yeah.
It's not crazy for us to say that it could be over.
Well, it's not that it could be over. It just could be over with them. I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a Brady-like resurgence in another place like Miami.
You know why he won't have that?
Why?
He's 38 today.
Yeah, of course he is, but
he'll be 39. He'll be 39 in January.
I'm not betting against Drew Brees. I thought he was going to have. Well, again, as a Saint, I'm betting against Drew Brees. As a Drew Brees the person, if he goes somewhere like Miami with Adam Gase and has Adam Gase with a quarterback that actually knows what he's doing, I kind of like that. I just don't think it's happening this year. I think this year is the year where it all falls apart, where basically everything that was held together with duct tape and super glue is finally just going to fall to pieces. Now let's get into the real nitty gritty because I'm pretty sure I'm going to surprise you on this next one.
No, I think because you're not a fan and you can actually evaluate this team, you're not going to agree. The Carolina Panthers are back, 6-10 last year, a questionable status on Cam's injuries as he heads into the season. Thomas Davis got an extension today. Good big up for Thomas Davis, big up for Bulldog. I'll let you go. You just go ahead.
They're going to start 3-1. They're going to start this season 3-1. After that, I don't like that. That close to the season is brutal. I can see them going.
By the way, you're talking about like week 5, like things just turn real worse.
No, it's no.
It really does though, because after the Pats, it's Lions, who we both agree are going to be pretty good. The Eagles have a chance. The Bears are a joke. The Bucks,
Falcons, and Dolphins is where, and then after that you get a respite game against the Jets and the Saints. But Vikings, Packers, Bucks, Falcons.
Closing out Packers, Bucks, Falcons is a rough ask.
is a tough ask to stay healthy. And truth be told, I'm not certain about Matt Khalil at left tackle. I'm not certain.
That's one of my notes about this team, actually. How dare you trade Mike Rimmer for Matt Khalil? You and the Vikings just traded awful left tackles.
And Mike Rimmer's like, I've seen John Matsko do work with a guy like Michael Orr and make him work at left tackle, and it worked for basically 18 games, and then he got exposed, and he was never the same after that.
Ever.
I like this team. There's part of me. There's two factors to this team that really bug me. One is Cam hasn't been there for most of the offense, most of the new offensive install, and that's what scares me the most. And more importantly, I think you're asking guys like McCaffrey, who I like, and Samuel, who I like, to do a lot for rookies, and I don't think it works. I don't think it works like that in the NFL. And I think it'll work early, but once that first, you know how this goes, first 4 games come out, tapes come out after that, and the scouts start getting ahead and start figuring everything out and start figuring that Cam doesn't really have the strength in the shoulder that he's supposed to right now, and that this was botched going back to last season.
When they didn't do the surgery on time.
I don't blame them for not doing the surgery. I blame them more for for basically having nothing to play for and continuing to throw him out there in meaningless games. That is my biggest problem with the Carolina Panthers.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
Like, the schedule, the middle part of that schedule can be soft-ish. I want to say over. I just don't think.
Ooh.
I don't think they do. I don't think they get 9. I don't think they get 9. I think they finish 8-8. And I think you're going to see a massive load of changes. And
so we both take the under there, because I think, while I disagree with you, because I think Cam has proven in the past in the different stops that he's been able to go from the classroom to the field fairly effectively.
Yeah.
I do have questions about the defense, if only because I think, how do I put this? There's a lot of things that can go wrong on that defense.
Yes, there are. Kuechly's one concussion away from being done.
I wouldn't have brought him back. I'm sorry. Like, I know that, it is what it is, but I would have bought him out. Like, it's
Kuechly is one concussion away.
I'm a guy who's had concussions on the field. I've had bad reaction to concussions. It's scary. It made me uneasy to watch what happened.
Yeah.
With Luke.
Yeah, that.
Thomas Davis seems to break a different limb every year and keep playing. But when those guys are your cornerstone still,
and you bring back guys like Peppers and Charles Johnson,
it feels like you're chasing a time that was great but may not be there anymore.
And
it feels like watching Doc Rivers build a basketball team of only teams he played against when he was in like the late 90s.
This is it. Honestly, they could be the LA Clippers of they could honestly be. But is that going to be good enough to get you a playoff spot? It might be. There's something about this team that doesn't feel right. It didn't feel right last year, and I was kind of right about that. I was warning everybody about that. This team doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. And I just think that you can't start off a football season with that much chaos. Firing the GM a week before training camp. Or I'm sorry, 10 days before training camp. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can install an offense with a quarterback that's not on the field just immediately. I think if you want to install something similar to that or something like that, and again, Cam is a bright dude when it comes to football. Fashion sense, not so much. But I don't know. Like, there's something about this team I don't like. And I think it starts on the offensive line, because if Matt Khalil goes down, you're asking Amini Silatolu to step in. I like Taylor Moton. He's a year away. I'm not sure about Darrell Williams at right tackle. And we got to, at some point, Greg Olsen stops being effective, right?
I mean, you and I both know that should happen, but I've seen no drop-off. And more to the point, I don't think the offense can sustain him having dropped off.
No, exactly. Like, Again, the only thing is maybe Benjamin steps up. Maybe Benjamin's got some freaky stats for what he's done. But even then, most of that's in garbage time. I mean, the man went 9 games last year without a touchdown catch. Think about that. Big ass dude like that went 9 games with so many red zone opportunities and didn't show up. There's a lot of turmoil to this team. I wouldn't be surprised to see, like, they're a team that I'm not surprised if they're 3-13 or they're 13-3, but I don't see the latter happening unless a lot of things break right. And I don't think Cam's MVP Cam, and I think he still needs to be MVP Cam because there's not enough weapons out there.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the team that
oh boy,
continually hurts me, and I continue to keep returning to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, just to recap for everyone, don't you say a word. They went 11. They went 11-5 last year. They made the Super Bowl and had an embarrassing collapse.
Embarrassing collapse is being very, very kind.
Over-under for this season is 9.5 wins.
Ooh.
I'll let you go first because I think I have more to say.
Yeah. I'm like, this is the first time I've really taken a deep dive into their schedule, and y'all start out again. They're a bad coin flip away from being 2-2.
You are ridiculous.
2-2 to start the season.
You're ridiculous.
I'm not.
I should hang up on you right now. Bears, Packers, Lions, Bills. Packers is a coin flip.
I'm not.
Bears, Lions, and Bills beating this team?
No. The Lions game is the one I'm worried about for you guys.
Give me that. Come win it now. Let's go.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right. I did tell you go first. I'll be quiet. I'll let you present your case.
I don't know, man. Then you start going into again. You go into the bye week. You get the Dolphins, which is a win. Then you get.
Thank you for being so gracious. Let's beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, no, which is a clear win. But then you have the Patriots game, which again, y'all are going to New England. Which on that one, good luck. So that's going.
It is what it is. But it's, you know what? My only respite for that is it's not December.
Yeah, it's not December, but
I'd rather go in October.
You're probably right. But I don't know. Like, I want to say under because there's so much of me that would love to troll you on this one. There's so much I'd love to troll you on this. The only question I have, honestly, is mentally, are they over that kind of collapse? Because
that's a very fair question.
Because quite frankly, as someone that saw the team close up blow an opportunity at a Super Bowl, I can tell you it takes at least a year to get over that. And considering the circumstances, in blowing a 25-point lead and then losing in overtime, that's a lot. That's a tough ask to ask them to go back and mount back up when you were that close. And I don't know. I don't know. Safe money says take the over. I just don't know. I don't trust this team.
Okay, that's fair. Counterpoint.
Okay.
I'll go to the offense last. The offense needs the least exploited.
Yes.
Defensively, this is a defense that got better with Dan Quinn because he's such a great teaching coach as the season went on.
Yes.
It's a defense that lost Desmond Trufant. People say, "Oh, is he?"
No. Let me.
When Quinn was building this defense,
he built
Desmond Trufant's his Sherman. Yeah. And people say, "Oh, I don't know. He got hurt." They gave him 5 in the offseason off an injury.
I don't blame them for that.
No, that's a smart pull. Now let's go to the backers. Vic Beasley came into his own last year.
Yes, he did.
It's going to be great to see him on the field with Poe, Garrett, Upshaw, and Reed wrecking havoc. I think this is a secondary that's strong, a secondary that has to see the best receiver in football every day at practice.
Yes.
And has gotten better for him. I've seen some of of course, the promo like, come cheer for your team nonsense. But I didn't buy into it, but I still enjoyed it and watched it.
Yes.
We go to the offensive side of the ball, and we've addressed something that's never been addressed in what's old buddy's name? He dresses like a 13-year-old. What's our GM's name? Dimitrov. The Dimitrov era. They got some depth up front.
They do have depth up front. Like, this is the most impressive offensive line I've seen from Atlanta in a long time.
Alex Mack was a stabilizing presence at center last year. It was a great offseason pickup. My feelings on Jake Matthews are well established. I'm getting into him here. He's fine. He's not good. He's not bad. He's fine. Yes. But I think you're going to see a leap, if it's even possible, out of Matt Ryan.
Whoa.
And I say this because I think he's going to be better than last year. I really do. This is a guy who won the MVP last year. I know what I'm saying. Finished third in the league in passing, first in the league in points.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that about the Falcons.
Look who's getting giddy right now.
Look, the fact that we're fun to watch, like we could be a public team, is crazy to me. Anyway, the reason I think that he could be better now is because Shanahan came in with this very strict Shanahanian playbook and said, here's what we're running.
Man, I know you're not going about to put your faith in Steve Sarkisian.
I'm not. But I think that when Steve Sarkisian came in the room, it was not a dictatorial, here's what we're running. It was a, hey, Matt, what do you want to run? I think this is Matt Ryan's first opportunity.
Granted, he's got an MVP now, so he kind of does have the cachet. But I'm not sure he's that kind of guy. I'm asking him what I want to run.
No, but the thing is, you know what you're good at. You know what you're comfortable with. I'm looking forward to the return of the swing passes, return of the screen game. I'm looking forward to getting Freeman in space. Also, great pickup, great lockup in the offseason. Good job by there. Get him now because he's going to get more expensive as the years go on. I think Freeman in space is going to really open this offense. I think that's how we're going to establish this team, because this is a team that did finish fifth in rushing last year, but the way they set up their run game was through the air. And if they can establish Freeman as a threat early, you've got backers keying on him, which frees up zones in the middle for Julio and Sanu to do their work. Mohamed Sanu was kind of an unexpected bonus last year.
Yes, he was.
In that we thought there was something left in the tank, but weren't sure. We now know for sure. Taylor Gabriel has established himself as a legitimate slot man in this league.
He has.
You've got a tight end position that's improved with Hooper's next year under his belt. I feel good about this offense to the point where I'm taking the over.
You would take the over.
That's right. I'm letting the Falcons hurt me again.
You, sir, have not learned your lesson. You have not learned your lesson at all. But you know what? This is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy laughing at you.
Are you taking the under?
I want to. You know what?
You know.
You know what? Just to screw with you, yeah, I'm taking the under. I am taking the under because you know
Friends
what?
Like these, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? But here's the one thing I will say about this: Freeman's not going to be the leading rusher on that team this year. I don't think he is.
Your Coleman guy?
Tevin Coleman.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman would be the guy.
I'll say this: I like Coleman as a traditional back.
Yes.
But what they ask Freeman to do, give me Devonta.
I will get.
He may not lead the team in rushing. You may be right about that. I think he leads the team in total yards.
I think Coleman. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to have, by the time this season ends, there's going to be some hand wringing over maybe we paid the wrong guy. I do believe that
with Dimitrov at the helm, all he's got are trade pieces, baby.
You hope, and more importantly, are we sure we're getting a full 16 from Julio?
How dare you?
Are we sure?
How dare you?
Are we sure
how dare you put that on my airwaves?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm nothing sure. It's football.
Of course. Are you? But
I feel better than an average chance that yes, he plays 16, and if he doesn't play, that's the crazy shit. I'm okay if he sits too, and I think we can still win.
Look, I'm gonna put it this.
Can we agree on one thing though? That Quintorris Lopez, Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in football.
That's without a doubt. That's
okay. Good. I just want to make sure we're all on.
Wait. Hold on. Let me. No. I actually, the more I think about it, no. Give me Beckham.
Blast. Okay.
Give me Beckham.
Awesome.
Give me Beckham.
Decision. Great decision.
Give me Beckham.
Oh yeah. Ooh, you're coming back on here today.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Okay. Give me Beckham.
How dare you?
Give me Beckham.
Ooh. Oh yeah. I'm a little hot, and I'm not gonna lie. Oh.
Yeah.
Beckham.
Yeah. Give me Beckham. Give me Beckham.
Beckham?
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's it, folks. That's our road to the NFC. We've ended with Nata disrespecting me on my own
Yes,
show.
and I'll come back and do it again, too.
And because of that, I'm not going to give him his outro. You tell them where to find him.
Okay. Folks, feel free to troll me and tell me how right I was about this during the season at Nata the Scribe. At some point, I will put my bio up for my Uproxx stuff because there's a lot of good stuff that even Mr. Palmer would enjoy occasionally. Again, because when I'm not trolling him on this, and when he finally finds me with said tire iron, we will finally have it out. But again, there will be an Uproxx link on my Twitter profile probably by the time this comes out, and you can find me at Not as a Scribe. Please tell me how right I was or how wrong I was. I got no problem with that. We can agree to disagree, unlike me and Mr. Palmer right now. But outside of that, just keep my Twitter feed, refresh it regularly, and I promise you that there's going to be some interesting stuff coming out, especially come basketball season, more so than football season.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. We really do appreciate you showing out for us. And now this from the MTR Network.
Here at the MTR Network, we have a saying, when in doubt, Black women work it out. And when you're looking for thoughtful opinions about television, movies, and current events, come listen to our Super Tuesday recaps, where me and the doctor talk about Supergirl, comics, and this winter we'll be recapping Black Lightning because Black superheroes matter. Come check out the B team. The B stands for Black women.
There you have it. Another day of podcast week is wrapped up. Thanks to all our guests so far this week, but a special thanks to Nata Edwards today, taking the time to go through the NFC with me, even if he does subscribe to at least nominally supporting that terrible, terrible team in Carolina. Well, tomorrow, the end of podcast week, the main event, the capper, we're going to be going over SummerSlam with Rich Fan and Cam Hawkins, both from PW Torch. I'm really excited to have them. I'm really excited to break down the entire weekend of professional wrestling. That was your show. This is your outro. See you tomorrow.